Princess Leonor stuns fans at Buckingham Palace with King Charles and Queen Camilla. Royal visits to Buckingham Palace have always carried an air of predictability. A red carpet laid out with precision, the regal backdrop of the palace gates, and the expectation of polite formalities between monarchs. For centuries, such visits have followed a familiar script: dignity, tradition, and ceremony. But when Princess Leonor of Spain stepped into Buckingham Palace alongside King Charles and Queen Camilla, the world witnessed something altogether different. Because Leonor did not simply arrive as a guest. She arrived as a presence. A force of elegance, charm, and quiet authority that stunned not only the crowds outside, but even those within the palace walls. And the shock was not in her attire, nor in her gestures, it was in what she represented. A future queen who carried herself not as an apprentice of monarchy, but as if she already belonged among the great symbols of royalty. From the moment she entered the forecourt of Buckingham Palace, all eyes locked on her. The crowd, who had gathered expecting a formal exchange between two royal houses, erupted in cheers as Leonor appeared. Draped in a gown that blended modern grace with timeless Spanish tradition, she seemed to embody the perfect bridge between past and future. The cameras flashed furiously, capturing every detail of her poised expression, every step she took beside King Charles and Queen Camilla. It was a moment heavy with symbolism. Spain's heir apparent standing beside the reigning monarch of the United Kingdom, the future and the present meeting in a spectacle that carried echoes of centuries of shared history. Yet, beyond the grandeur, what captured hearts most were the subtle moments. The way Leonor greeted the palace staff with warmth, not formality. The way she leaned in with attentiveness as King Charles spoke, her eyes reflecting both respect and confidence. And the way Queen Camilla, often guarded in public, offered her genuine smiles, as though recognizing in Leonor not just a future queen, but a kindred spirit in navigating the complexities of royal duty. Royal watchers quickly noticed something unusual: Leonor wasn't overshadowed. In a palace dominated by the history of British royalty, she stood as an equal. Her presence drew comparisons not to the guests of royal banquets, but to the royals who shaped the course of nations. Social media erupted almost instantly, fans declaring her the star of the visit, journalists remarking on her composure, commentators highlighting how rare it was for such a young princess to command attention in such a setting. But why was this moment so powerful? Why did her appearance resonate beyond the gilded halls of Buckingham? The answer lies in context. Spain and Britain share centuries of intertwined history, alliances, rivalries, marriages, and wars. Their monarchies have long been reflections of Europe's shifting balance of power. For Leonor to appear at Buckingham Palace is not just a courtesy visit, it is a reminder of Spain's enduring role in Europe, and of the generational transition already underway. King Charles represents continuity, a monarch who ascended after decades of waiting. Leonor represents anticipation, the promise of a new era in Spain. Their meeting symbolized the passing of history's torch, not in words, but in presence. Inside the palace, the banquet unfolded with customary splendor. Golden tableware, crystal chandeliers, and music echoing through the halls. Yet even there, Leonor was the subject of whispers. Her conversational ease with dignitaries from across the Commonwealth. Her thoughtful remarks on cultural ties between Spain and the UK. And above all, her ability to balance deference to tradition with the self-assurance of someone already aware of her destiny. But beneath the admiration, quiet tension lingered. Royal families are never free from comparison. Some wondered aloud, was Leonor overshadowing other young royals? Would her rising popularity create rivalries, especially with those in Britain who have fought to maintain the monarchy's image amid controversy? Others questioned whether her confidence might be too bold, too independent for the delicate balance of monarchy. These debates only fueled the fascination. Every photograph, every clip of video, every whispered comment from behind palace walls became a piece of a larger puzzle. Who is Princess Leonor becoming, and what does her presence mean for the future of European royalty? When the night drew to a close and Leonor stood for the official portrait beside King Charles and Queen Camilla, the image spoke volumes. 3 monarchs, one reigning, one consort, one waiting in the wings. 3 generations of royalty, each carrying a story, a weight, and a legacy. And in the center of that tableau, Leonor shone not as a supporting figure, but as a focal point. For the fans gathered outside, it was unforgettable. Their chants of her name, their waving flags of Spain and Britain together, reflected not just admiration, but hope. They saw in Leonor not just a princess visiting a palace, but a leader who might redefine what monarchy means in the decades to come. As dawn broke the next morning, the newspapers were unanimous: Leonor had stunned Buckingham Palace. Commentators described her as radiant, magnetic, a princess who seemed destined not only to inherit a crown, but to shape the very perception of monarchy itself. And as the world replayed the footage, one truth became clear. Princess Leonor had not just visited Buckingham Palace. She had claimed her place within the global stage of royalty, a place she did not have to ask for, but one she commanded by her very presence. The world had expected a polite exchange. What it received was a revelation. A glimpse into the future of monarchy, embodied by a young woman whose grace, courage, and authenticity left even Buckingham Palace itself in awe. And so, the story of her stunning arrival alongside King Charles and Queen Camilla will not fade with the news cycle. It will linger, echoing in the memory of royal fans and observers alike, a reminder that sometimes the future of royalty doesn't wait to arrive quietly. It announces itself, brilliantly, unapologetically, and in a way that leaves the world speechless.